Hello, it's Neil Getz and we're at Kirkton. It's mid-June and it's a lovely day in Aberdeenshire. A nice warm wind, it's about 18 degrees, believe it or not. And yeah, we're up at Kirkton. Now, like Sheldon was, I was just there just a few minutes ago, it's quite overgrown, this section. So I'm going to instead of going into the middle of the circle, I'll go behind the recumbent and I'll do a kind of topology of it. So I'm just going to walk past the massive flanker. I've already kind of squashed down quite a lot of the brush and the stone. Let's get up into a kind of little stone here. Right. So I'm just above the recumbent. There's the east flanker, recumbent. That's where the west flanker would have been, number one stone. So yeah. So when we're numbering the stones, there is only 4, but they're counted as the start as number 2 because recumbent's always number 2. As I know it's convention, but so there's 2 stones there, part of the circle. So the circle would have went out quite far, probably around the circuit side into the field. Obviously, it's quite a lot of field spoil round about the back, which kind of hampers any kind of look at round about this massive recumbent. Really pointed at this end, broadens out. Quite a monster of a recumbent stone actually. And yeah, this is before I do the pod, just to get some bearings in. So this will be south, turn right round and look north, and there's Barra Hill, which is really nice as well because just down here, there's a nice little kirk which has picture stone circles, picture stone carvings in one of the build stones that was used for it. Although I think it's fairly faded now. But it's worth a visit round about this area just for Barra Hill and the stone circle, and Sheldon's just along the road. So it's quite a nice little trip out if you fancy anything like that. So looking south, just a trip round. We're on a little bit of a hill, but we're looking up onto a kind of rise there. It's going south. Coming round with a tap in the distance. We're on quite a nice rise here, so we're looking round the countryside from a kind of raised position in Barra Hill, and then round to there's a little rise there, and then down to the little village, just a few houses, and that's his background. So that's a topology. So there's only 4 stones to look around. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick look around the recumbent, since it's so big. Let's just get right down here. And amongst the advantages of coming in winter actually is none of this is here, but it can be a wee bit boggy and muddy. So you can see from this end that the recumbent stone is fairly chunky. It's not quite old keeg, depending which way you want to pronounce it, but it's not far off it. It's massive. Along the front, you can see it kind of tapers off at the end. I wouldn't be too surprised if this stone was considerably larger at some point. This kind of pattern, zigzag pattern in the front here, kind of would suggest to me that there's been quite a bit of work trying to reduce the stone. Considering there's only 4 stones left in the circle, there's some reports that if I go back up here, that the stone dike that runs along the edge of the field has a couple of fairly large stones in it, which would probably make a bit of sense that the rest of the circle stones have been perhaps used in building it, or used for building the local or localish houses and barns and farm buildings. So I wouldn't be surprised at all that this particular stone's there's been an attempt to reduce it somewhat, chunks off the end. It kind of comes to a point at this end here. Look at the top, and we see the side end view of the flanker, and let's just go and have a look at that one, because it's a monster of a thing. So we got up close to it. We're talking about maybe 2.5 metres high, slab like, flattish front and back, relatively, what we're talking about, maybe like an arm's length deep, and at least 2 arms width wide. There's a wee stone at the end. I think it's maybe been maybe part of a circle stone or something like that, perhaps. But it is a monster. Try and get in a little bit to the front and see there's been it feels to me like the stone's been either re-erected or replaced or moved into position. I mean, this is unusual to have such a large plinth stone holding the end up. It could be that that's part of a chunk that was blasted off or was taken off of the main recumbent, perhaps. But that's quite unusual to have something like that holding up one of the ends of the recumbent. Kind of suggests, doesn't mean it, but it kind of suggests that there's been a bit of reduction work done to this main stone. So believe it or not, this might have been a lot larger. This might have been part of the main stone. It might have been just something else lying around. So if we go back this way, just for access reasons, and we'll go round the circle. So forgive me if it's a little bit windy. You can pick up on the mic. It's a bit like this today. And we'll go around and look at so like I said, convention would be the west flanker would be number 1, recumbent's always number 2, east flanker's always number 3, and then it would work its way around the circle. So what you've got in actual fact is stone 2, stone 3, stone 4 and stone 5 around here. So let's go and look at stone 4 first. It's a lovely day. A little bit overgrown, like I said, but this is a monster of a stone again. This would have been a substantial circle when it was complete, and had probably been standing for 4,500 years before the local people started to use it as other bits and bobs. So there's a little bit of a shape to it. There is a little bit of a kind of block shape to it, without a doubt. Quite tall. So again, we're probably talking 2.2, 2.3. But it is a monster of a stone. So on that basis, that this is a monster, the recumbent is a monster, the flanker is a monster, and this one is pretty big as well. You could pretty much say with certainty that this circle was a significant monument. Without a doubt, would have been a big monument. And I guess with Barra Hill in the distance, this kind of monument would have been certainly well, I would guess a popular one for the local community to be using for whatever it is they used them for. So that's stone 4, and then stone 5. See what I mean? It's an absolute monster. It's a block of a stone. It's like, what's that? 1.5 arms wide and 2 arms deep. And it's a little bit taller than I am, so it's maybe 1.7, 1.8. That's a block of a stone. So if you were trying to picture the circle as it maybe was, you could perhaps say that the flanker, this number 1 stone, would have been as tall and as large as its neighbouring flanker. Number 3 stone, number 1 stone would be the same. Working your way around here, a kind of block of a stone, another block of a stone, all the way around. So this would have been a significant site, without a doubt. Unfortunately, since records began, this 4 stones is all that's remained. So this is as much information as we've got with these ones actually. So hopefully you've enjoyed this little walk around, and it's maybe encouraged you to come and visit Kirkton. Like I say, it's worth a little trip to this area because of Barra Hill, this circle and Sheldon. It's all worth a little kind of walk around. Nice and accessible. The car's just there. I just backed it up onto the field. There's a little lay-by there as well if you're not keen on doing that, but it's nice and accessible. No gates to kind of clamber over. And yeah, thanks very much for joining us.